Dear students, I am Dr. Ravi Verma, Associate Professor, Department of Commerce and Management Studies, Sanjeev College of Arts and Sciences, Kakinada. Welcome to the subject Medium, Small and Micro Enterprises Management, which is there in III BBA 6th semester. Let's recap the unit number 1, which was discussed in previous classes. In unit number 1, we had a glance on the definition of micro, small and medium enterprises, contributions of MSME sector to the Indian economy, challenges faced by MSME sector, and the government benefits or incentives to the MSME sector and backward areas. Now, in unit number 2, we are going to have a glance on project preparation, in which first part of unit number 2 is specifically about project identification and formulation. Let us look at the important contents in this particular lecture. Contents to be covered: introduction and definition of a project, project identification, project formulation and feasibility study. These 4 important concepts would be covered in this lecture. Now let us look at concept of project. A project is a whole complex of activities involved in using resources to gain benefits. This particular definition is given by Gillinzer. Let's look at this definition once again. Project is a whole complex of activities, which means a number of activities will be included in the project, whether it belongs to the human resources activities, infrastructure activities, technical aspects, feasibility aspects, various aspects would be covered, activities would be covered in project involved in using resources. What kind of resources are used? Resources can be defined as 4 M's: men, materials, mission and money. These are the 4 resources to be blended to gain benefits. This particular definition is given by Gillinger. There is another definition given by World Bank. The World Bank defines a project as an approval for a capital investment, develops facilities to provide goods and services. Now let us look at the need for project preparation. What is the need? Why do we need a project preparation? There are 5 important elements or 5 important points to be noted. First one is to know various resources required for commencement of business. What are the resources we discussed earlier? What are the resources means 4 M's. So how much it required, at what stages they require to be known before commencement of the business. Project is a stipulated guidelines to include these various resources at various stages of the business. Second one is to get financial assistance from banks and other financial institutions. Whoever want to help you out in financially need to look at the sound project, or so what is your prospects of the business to be included in the project. So to get financial assistance either from banks or government institutions or financial institutions require a valid project. Third one is to approach venture capital firms for equity participation. If you want to invite some equity partnership, so you need to show them your sound business prospects. And fourth one is to estimate cost benefit analysis. So project report is nothing but the entire cost to be borne, and as well as what kind of benefits we can get in short term, medium term and long term also. These would be included in project. To know the cost benefit analysis of the business, we need to prepare a project. And last but not least reason is to give clear picture to the business idea. Generally business ideas are vague and imaginary or visionary. We need to make it real, which means certain feasibility aspects must be included in project preparation, so that the vague idea can become a reality. So these are 5 important points to be noted when it comes to the need for project preparation. Let us look at features of a project. A project involves investment of money, and money is what? Financial aspects are very important components of any project. Second one is the objective of the project is to earn profit. Ultimate of project is to start the business and earn profit. Third one is it is concerned with production of goods and services. Either so we are preparing project to produce goods or rendering services. Fourth one is every project has risk and uncertainty associated with it. Yes, every business works in a dynamic environment, so every project has risk and uncertainty associated with its preparation. And fifth one is it has a fixed set of objectives. So every project is prepared with a predetermined objectives or set of objectives. Now the continuation part is, it is subjected to a lot of change. A project must be flexible to adapt various changes in the business environment. It has a definite beginning and an end. We must show where we need to start and what are the various stages of the implementation and where we can reach the ultimate objective of the project preparation and business. And next one is, it has a life cycle reflected by growth, maturity and decay. Like we have seen in project management also, there are 4 stages: introduction stage, growth stage, maturity stage and decay stage. All these stages would be mentioned in project report also. So where every product or product category need to surpass all these stages, so these stages would be mentioned in the project also. It is a combination of various elements such as technology, equipment, material, machinery and people. Various aspects would be included in the project so that it would be comprehensive guide before commencement of the business. And a project requires teamwork. Project is not a one-man show. We need many people who are experts in various fields so to prepare a valid and sound project. Now let us look at the first concept, project identification, and formulation is also somehow included. It is because these two are integrated concepts, so project identification and formulation. Let us look at identification. Project identification is the first step in the strategic planning process. So it's the first step in, we need to identify what project has to be, what idea has to be implemented, or what idea has to be written on paper, what idea needs the blueprint. Project formulation. Project formulation is a process whereby the entrepreneur makes an objective and independent assessment of the various aspects of an investment proposition of a project idea for determining its total impact and also its liabilities. So various propositions, in the sense various aspects to be covered here, various kinds of assets to be included in the project, and as well as its liabilities are also mentioned in the project report. Now phases of project identification and formulation. There are 4 important phases in project formulation. First one is concept of an idea or idea generation, as project identification and formulation starts with the concept of an idea or idea generation. Second one is analysis of related aspects. Third one is formulation of a project and feasibility study. Fourth one is project design or design of a project. These are the 4 important concepts, phases to be included in project identification and formulation. Now let us look at one by one. First one is concept of idea or idea generation. Project identification and selection process starts with the generation of a project idea. A project idea can be discovered from various internal and external sources, which may include, this is the first paragraph in concept of idea or idea generation. Now let us look at this paragraph once again. Project identification starts with the idea generation. Idea generation is nothing but when we see a problem, when we can find out a solution, it can be converted as a business. When you see a need, when you recognize a need, the fulfiller, if you can identify, it can become a business idea. Generally these ideas can be from both the internal sources as well as external sources. This is the portion where we can cover what are the various sources to get business ideas or idea generation. First one is knowledge of potential customer needs. If you can identify the potential needs of the customers, the solutions can become business ideas. Second one is watching emerging trends in demand for certain products. In certain stages of situations, some products may have high demand products at one particular point of time. If you can identify those products, such kind of products or services can be delivered so that it can become a potential business source or idea. Third one is scope for producing substitute products. If there are only few substitutes available in the market, if you can identify other substitutes in the market, it can become a potential business idea. Fourth one is ideas from professional magazines and other literature, both primary sources and secondary sources, we can get business ideas. And next one is success stories of known entrepreneurs or friends or relatives. If someone has succeeded in one field, we may approach in the same manner to get success, so new ideas will be generated by that way. And making visits to trade fairs and exhibitions displaying new products and services, where we see new products and services we may get motivation to start the similar kind of businesses, or we may get new business ideas. Next, meeting with the government agencies. Government is promoting certain industries and products. If we can have awareness on these various promotional activities performed by government agencies, we may get motivated to become an entrepreneur, and new ideas can be developed. Ideas given by knowledgeable persons, as few persons or experts who are having vast knowledge in certain area can guide you to generate new ideas. And government policies, concessions and incentives can also motivate to become an entrepreneur to generate new ideas. And list of items reserved for SMEs, this is now outdated topic. Previously there were number of items reserved for small and medium enterprise sector, but the dereservation policy has abolished the entire policy framework with respect to the reservation of items. And new products introduced by competitors, we can get motivation by our competitors also. When competitors produce new products and services, we get motivated to introduce similar types of products as fast followers also in the market. Now, analysis of various related aspects is the second phase. All ideas generated by us may not be potential ideas. After having some project ideas, these are analyzed in the light of existing economic conditions like government policies, technological aspects, political conditions, and so on. Generally used managerial jargon for this purpose is SWOT analysis. You may be aware of the SWOT: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat. First two strengths and weaknesses indicate internal strengths and weaknesses of the organization, which are from micro environment conditions, and opportunities and threats are related to macro environmental conditions. We need to apply SWOT analysis to various ideas generated by us, so the potential ideas would be filtered to the next level. This is the second phase of project identification and formulation. After idea generation, it is analysis of related aspects, means applying SWOT analysis to various ideas generated or produced by us, so that only potential ideas can be taken to the next step. Third one is feasibility study. Very important. Project feasibility refers to the probability of a project with respect to its inflows and outflows of funds, that is cost and benefits in terms of technology, finance, market, environment, etc. So various aspects will be covered in feasibility study. Feasibility study is nothing but the implementability of the project ideas or business ideas with respect to various aspects, like technologically what could be the cost and what are the benefits we are going to get, how much investment we need, and how much return we can generate in short term, medium term, and long term through this investment, and what could be the market environment, like whether we are operating in duopoly market or oligopoly market and monopolistic market, and so on. What could be the environmental threat, the threat of substitutes, threat of alternatives, competition, etc. would be covered in project feasibility study. There is one more introductory part or definition for this. Project feasibility study is an analytical tool used during the project planning process, shows how a business would operate under an explicitly stated set of assumptions, which means the facilities, types of equipment, manufacturing process, capital needs, volumes of production, cost of goods, wages and other expenses, etc. So these are the various aspects will be covered in project feasibility study. Now, what is the importance of feasibility study? Feasibility study helps in determining profitability, what kind of profit we can earn and how much we can earn in various stages of the production. Second one is it helps to gather broad data for members of management to make certain decisions. Always management would be exposed to take complex decisions. It needs the clear data to take right decision at right time. So feasibility study helps management to take such kind of decisions. And third one is inconsistency in business objectives technically and economically are identified. So before commencement of business, technical deficiencies or economic deficiencies would be identified by preparation of feasibility study. Fourth one is it helps in analyzing cost benefit approach. What is the total cost functional wise, or what is the various cost structures involved in the business, and what kind of benefits we are going to get with respect to economic conditions, as well as financially, as well as reputation wise. It helps to uncover strengths and weaknesses of the existing business. Feasibility study not only helps the new businesses, but also helps to identify strengths and weaknesses of the existing businesses. Now, feasibility study helps the entrepreneurs identify the flaws, business challenges, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and unforeseen circumstances that might affect the success and sustainability of the business venture. So, feasibility study is an extension to the second phase, which means applying of SWOT analysis, which is even more detailed analysis than SWOT analysis. Next, it helps entrepreneurs in identifying various resources required, like financial resources, technical resources, and human resources. All these resources will be taken into consideration in feasibility study. And next one is it helps in determining the capital requirement, budgeting, and cash flow requirements. So all these aspects will be covered in feasibility analysis. Now, what are the important steps involved in feasibility analysis? There are as many as 7 steps involved in the feasibility study. First one is preliminary analysis, which means a brief analysis of the project idea. Second one is preparation of project income statements. So what could be various income sources for the business, and what could be the various expenses involved in the business. Third one is market survey. What is the potential of the idea? Segmentation, strength of the segmentation, invasion of the business from one area to one segment to another segment would be covered in this step. Fourth one is plan business organization and operations. So what could be the size of business, size of investment, how many branches must be there, whether it is a centralized or decentralized concept to be implemented. Such decisions would be taken in this step. And next one is preparation of opening day balance sheet. How much initial investment is required to start the business, at what stages, so continuous financial flow is required, and what is the sustainable stage of the business in terms of years or months, that means time duration, would be given in this particular step. Next one is a review and data analysis. Various concentration risk with respect to the purchase of raw material, concentration risk with respect to the sales. So what could be the volumes, what could be the bottom out stages would be discussed in this particular step. Make go or no go decisions, which means whether the project can be implemented or not would be decided in the last step of feasibility study. If make go decision is taken, we can go ahead with the project. If no go decision is taken, so let us look at we need to look at the next idea, potential idea, to have a feasibility study. So what are the types of project feasibilities? So there are various types or various aspects to be covered here. Technical feasibility, all technical aspects will be covered here. Managerial feasibility, economic feasibility, financial feasibility, cultural feasibility, social feasibility, safety feasibility, political feasibility, environmental feasibility, market feasibility. So these are the various types of project feasibility studies. Technical feasibility, in which there are 3 aspects to be covered: input analysis, throughput analysis, and output analysis. What kind of technology has to be used, what is the process of the technology, and what kind of output we can generate by using the technology. These things will be covered in technical feasibility. Second one is managerial feasibility, in which there are 3 important aspects: capability of the infrastructure, management capacity and availability, employee involvement and availability. So what is the capability of the infrastructure, how much infrastructure is required, and how it is to be used in the business. And second one is management capability and availability, the strength of first year management and second year management. So what could be the availability of quality management at various levels. Third one is the technical employees or skilled workers availability would be discussed here in managerial feasibility. Third one is economic feasibility, demand analysis, various demand cost concepts and demand analysis concepts will be covered, and break-even point analysis is also covered in this section. Third one is cost benefit analysis is also prepared in economic feasibility, and fourth one is detailed business plan business plan would be charted out. Next, financial feasibility. Return on investment and return on equity concepts would come into the picture in financial feasibility, and discounted cash flow analysis is applied to know the real rate of returns we can expect in short term and medium term, and risk analysis is also carried out in financial feasibility. Cultural feasibility. Culture plays a very important role in adaptation of products and services. So cultural aspects of the geographical region would be covered in cultural feasibility. Along with that, tradition and values, the importance of these aspects in the business success is enormous. So these aspects are also covered in cultural feasibility study. Social feasibility, norms of the society, social status of the people, influence of social groups on products and services will also be considered in social feasibility study. Safety feasibility, both internal safety and external safety, safety to the employees and internal associates of the organization, and safety to the customers and other stakeholders will also be considered in safety feasibility. Political feasibility, the line of political aspects on the business or industry would be considered in this section. Political mood towards the industry will be covered, and influence of political decisions on prospects of the business will also be considered in political feasibility study. Environmental feasibility study, impact of process on environment either positively or negatively will be considered here, and impact of output on environment will also be considered in environmental feasibility study. If environmental feasibility study is not covered properly, it may lead to a blockage, or it may be difficult for businesses to get permissions from various environmental organizations. Bureaucratic organizations exist in the legal framework. And next one is market feasibility. Competition within the industry, market share of the existing products will also determine a huge role in market feasibility study. These are the various types of feasibility studies we discussed so far. And last but not least is design of the project, so which is completely technical phase of the project identification and formulation, which would be discussed in later stages. So these are the important topics what we covered in this lecture. So remaining concept of project and project preparation and project report preparation will be covered in part 2 of unit 2. Thank you so much for your patience listening. Thank you very much.